Hey guys, welcome to Coaching with Chris. I am excited because this is part 2 with Roland Cochrun, his coaching company. I just follow him. I watch him. I'm super proud of him, what he's done. He's changing loan officers' lives one by one. And I love it, his small group retreats, I would say. So I'm excited to be able to bring Roland. Get in here.
What's up, my man? How are you, Chris?
You're just so calm. You ever get elevated, or is this?
Yeah, I do. I get triggered from
rolling?
time to time. No. I get triggered from time to time. Usually, it's I would say it's for different reasons than for most people. But I got my fair share of spiciness. Maybe you guys will see it today. Sometimes I can get fired up.
All right. Well, hey, I'm gonna see if I can, poke that a little bit. But anyways, hey, catch me up. I mean, your coaching company is killing it. You're changing loan officers' lives. I've heard story after story how you've made a huge impact. And since the last time we talked, you've really grown. Your company is just like on fire.
Yeah. So we took a different. I think last time we talked, I hadn't even done. I launched my first, in the coaching world, we call it like a low ticket offer, basically, as a, lower barrier to entry thing. And I've been resistant to it for years because I knew what I wanted, when I was going to launch my coaching company, I knew what I wanted it to be. I knew what I want the transformation to be. And it just costs what it costs, and it involves what it involves. And so I was really not interested in doing anything lower. So then I was like, okay, well, if I did do something, I had a bunch of people that are like, Roland, especially in, 2023, 2024, people are like, hey, Roland, are you going to do something, virtually, or do something that's a little bit more, affordable? And I was like, okay, well, I'll try it. But it needs to be done in person. I'm not doing this Zoom nonsense. You are going to fly out. We're going to have 18 hours together in person. We're going to craft your brand. We're going to teach you how to monetize it. And so that's probably the biggest change since you and I talked last. Is I have done 2 of those now, and both sold out. I love doing both of them. They were super, super fun, really impactful. And my clients, I allow them to come for free to them. And so they want them to keep coming because they've really enjoyed it as well. So yeah, that's probably the biggest difference, was kind of launching these little pop-up live events, which is, it's been fun. I've actually enjoyed it.
Cool. So like if I'm listening to this, I mean, this is all about coaching. Sometimes we go left and we go right, but we try to stay in the middle there. Before maybe we get into some meats and potatoes, you had a great post the other day of really what you worked on, and kind of want to cover that. But what's this thing cost?
So my low ticket, So the low ticket event, which again, I wish I could tell you when I'm going to do another one. I don't really have one planned, or kind of, it's not really a money making thing for me as much as it's just a way to introduce this new kind of concept of marketing to the marketplace. I do think loan officers are, the market's evolved. It's just not performing the way that it has. And so I have a path to facilitate that change, because I think a lot of people are struggling unnecessarily when they actually know better. And it's just me presenting it that allows them to do the thing that I think they know for sure. But it's the live events. If I do another one, they're affordable. It's $9.97. It's literally, I have to say, someone at lunch, for breakfast, in the evening, somebody for the next 2 days has to say something smart to get you one loan to make the whole thing have made sense. And which is, to me, it's a no-brainer. I think that's why we have no problem selling it out. Is, from an investment standpoint, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. How many people do you normally get, or what's the
So we max it at 30, because think about it, Chris. If we're crafting a personal brand, I really need one-on-one time with everyone. Tons of specific questions to your brand. And so we've capped it at 30, and I don't know if I could do it. I could maybe do 35. But
I like 30.
No, it's small. 30 is a good number.
Yeah, I get it. So I'm an originator. It's 2024. It's March. We're the first weekend. We all know that these plans, these things that I got to go do, to be able to, in a sense, take care of the farm, start the harvest, so I can really capitalize on this purchase season right in front of us. And I feel like some loan officers are like, okay, I'm ready to go and I'm implementing all these things. Some are like, yeah, I'll wait. I thought Gavin said it best the other day. Is it's like you got a choice, right? You can either wait for the market or you can go create your own market. Uh, uh, what is your message to originators today? Maybe someone listening on this call that could think about like, okay, I got to look at this a little bit differently going into these next 60 days so I can have a big impact.
Yeah, Gavin and I had a similar conversation when we went out to lunch a few months ago, and it was, the market's the market. And so, as an entrepreneur, which I'm going to refer to all the loan officers who are still here today as entrepreneurs. You don't hang out in a market like this with all favorable data that's really projected through 2029. I mean, we're going to have inventory issues for a while, right? And even if rates soften, we're just going to have supply issues. That's just the way it's going to be. So the people who are hanging out still, in my opinion, are entrepreneurs. They're people who they're loan officers who understand that the market does what markets do, meaning it's going to auto select. So the people who won't make it will auto select out. That's just going to be how it is. And so any entrepreneur understands that, why not me? Right. That's always kind of the question as an entrepreneur is, hey, we pull up MMI, you see, hey, loans are being closed every single day. It's just the game is just a matter of, are you closing them or someone else closing them? I mean, that's just really what it comes down to. So the entrepreneur, they tell themselves, that's the story they tell themselves. It's different than a salesperson is, why not me? Why am I not closing more of them or all of them? Right. And so, that's to me, the message to the originator in 2024, it's quite simple the way I see it. And I know this is going to potentially upset people, but I'm right.
Good.
Okay. I'm right. And I'm not wrong. We live in the most advanced time to be a loan officer. And what I mean by that is, for the past, and this is all good things, for the past about 15, 20 years, coaching has really taken off. It's actually, I would say, if you're an entrepreneur who happens to be a loan officer, you've been coached. You've probably been coached by multiple people. There's been times where you've probably been coached at one time by multiple people. And, this is called democratization, right? So when we democratize knowledge, and when we make it easy and accessible for people to have, we just have to understand that the standard keeps getting elevated higher and higher and higher and higher as that goes. And so this is the most advanced time to be a loan officer, meaning everyone's got this epic data from Barry and MBS Hathaway. Everybody's got these fancy TCA videos and these HomeBot offerings and these, everybody has them. And so, and if you think the top 5% of agents haven't heard all of these valuable things haven't been offered to them, come on. I mean, like they have. And the truth be told, those top 5% agents have coaches. Some of them have multiple coaches. And a lot of the messaging from coaching, especially within the housing industry, is the same. So when they smell that you are trying to hustle them, it's the same strategy that they are using in their business, right? And so the trick with this democratization really of marketing and strategy and funnels and lead capture is everyone knows it. I would even say at this point in time, post-pandemic, clients even know when they're in a sales funnel and when they are being sold. And so, really, I guess I say all that background, Chris, to say, I think the days of sales in that traditional sense are over. It's just that the books have been written, the secrets are out. Some of the best experts have written books that could transform your business. Just that book. Right. I mean, there's some really good books out there, And so I think we have to just honor all of that and understand that we live in an era where there's no shortage of tactics, strategies, and excellence. It's the secrets have been spilled. And so what's that mean for the originator today? Well, we can't lean on hacks, strategies. I always say it this way. If all you have to do is swipe a card to implement it into your business, it ain't going to work. It ain't going to work for two reasons. One, there's a lot of other people swiping their card for the same thing. Reason number one is, and reason number two, especially as a loan originator, the value that you provide is less valuable when all you had to do was swipe a credit card. So when you spam my email with that email spam, I know that all you had to do was pay Bonzo to send me that spam email. You didn't write it yourself. You didn't put thought into the funnel. There's not a sequence of events that you're trying to take me on a journey that's going to actually benefit my life. You just swiped your card. And so I think anytime that it's as easy as buying something, it ain't going to work. And I think the vast majority of originators are buying things and hoping that they work. And I think, again, we're coming to the end of paying for something and having it just bring in loans, right? We're entering what I call the purpose economy, this relationship-driven economy where the only rarity now is human stuff, especially with AI. It's the value of just stuff is decreasing. I mean, AI will write you a blog, Chris. You can say, hey, write me a blog to send to realtors about how to use AI in real estate. And, AI will write you a blog that you could send to realtors. And realtors know this now. So now even your blog has lost value, right? And this is just going to continue to go forward as we get kind of more advanced.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're, by the way, I don't think you're going to upset anyone.
Well, there's a lot of people spending a lot of time and a lot of money who don't appreciate me telling them that it's not going to work.
I mean, let me just summarize what I think I heard. I mean, if you're looking for the easy button, you're either going to get caught or it ain't going to work. Mm-hmm. And so I'm an originator and I'm listening today and I'm like, okay, I don't want the easy button because if I'm going to make a go at this, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. If I'm going to change my business this year in 2024, it's amazing when you go back and actually look at a lot of originators' data and you're like, oh my gosh, you're down 200%, you're down 180%, you're down 78%, you're down 40%. And they're like, yeah, I don't want to look at that. And then you start to really, they never changed. COVID changed, but then after COVID, they never changed. Mm-hmm. And I'm just excited to hear, if I'm not going to swipe my card, what am I going to do? Maybe 3 things. We could get 3 things of value from you today. 3 things that I need to go do that's not easy, that's not swiping my card, that's going to make a difference.
Mm-hmm. I think, and that's, we are seeing people toying with the idea of retiring right now, Chris, for that reason. Is it's like, a lot of originators are asking themselves, especially the ones that don't necessarily need the money, do I want to play the game in the way that I'm going to have to play it going forward? Because it is going to have to be played differently. And what I mean by that, before I deliver the 3 tactics that people can use, in professional services, which is what mortgage is. So, what I mean by that is you offer a service that a ton of other people in the country offer with a federally or state regulated license. The benefit is everyone knows what a mortgage is and when they need one. The challenge is there's a ton of you. And so really you doing something truly unique is very difficult in professional services because everybody's claiming to be the best. The broker claims to be the best. The retail person claims to be the best. And the bank loan officer, they're all claiming to be better than the other ones, right? And so it's created this playing field really where you can't say or do anything from a mortgage standpoint to stand out. And if you try, I'll tell you this, the top agents will see right through it because top agents know a mortgage is a mortgage is a mortgage is a mortgage. Yes, is there differences between them? Slight. But in the end, there hasn't been a new mortgage invented for a really long time. They kind of are what they are. And so, the second you claim to have this revolutionary mortgage that's never existed before, if I'm a top agent, I'm just, I don't know. I might not listen to you if that's going to be your angle because it's like, oh, come on, like what you're gonna have them lock the rate here and have them pay this and waive this. Like it's just a movement around of different strategies. But in the end, the mortgage is the same. My point of that is leading with any of those things that another loan officer could say is a bad idea, because everyone claims to close on time, to have an excellent communication, to have access to these really rare products. Even if they are bad at all of those things and they don't have rare products, they're all claiming that they do, right? And so you kind of want to wipe all that stuff from your vocabulary, because it just goes in one ear and out the other, because they've either seen it before, or they've been lied to by a loan officer who claimed to have all of these things and then didn't, right? And so we want to be careful saying that, because it may sound like a story that's familiar to them that you don't actually want to sound like, right? So when we think about the strategies, we're trying to avoid doing anything that any other loan officer could do. We're trying to avoid all of it. So the reason my program's called In Design, I believe that every single person has been born designed with a very specific skill set, designed for a very specific set of individuals, right? So you are supposed to influence and help a certain group of individuals solve a problem that they have, and your unique skill set is better than others at doing that. And I believe that the faster you are able to articulate what those unique abilities are, who they're for, and explain to them, show them with proof why you're better than other people at doing that thing for this particular group of individuals, those are going to be the people who will win in this market, because people are looking for, they're not looking for how good you are at your job anymore. They want to see something true. And in my opinion, the only thing that we can show them that's true and unique is what you were born to do, because they can feel, it's called conviction. And people speak with that conviction, and you feel it. A human, Ed Milet says it this way, and I love it. He says, people don't want you to convince them to believe you. They want to know that you believe you. And I love when he says that, because it's so true. It's that conviction. Another way of saying this, Chris, would be intent. People, borrowers included, borrowers, agents, referral partners. Everyone wants to see the intent. Why did he make this video and post it on social? Why is he hosting this happy hour? Why is he hosting this lunch and learn? And the truth is, most loan officers are posting and hosting to get leads and to get referrals. And if that's your intent, they can pick up on that. And so if you're really not hosting the lunch and learn to help me, which they can tell pretty quickly, if this is just oh, hey, I helped you this one time, so you should send me a loan, they can pick up on that. And that used to be the strategy, was trading value and for referrals. And that strategy was fine from 2000 to like 2015. And now it's been tired. And so it's like, are you actually helping me here, or do you have an alternative motive? And so I give all this background before we talk about the three strategies that people can use, because really look at your intent. I mean, if you're simply working so that you can stop working, which is most people, I'm just going to get enough money and then quit. Why would I work with you if you're just getting enough money to stop doing what you're doing? Everyone let that soak in. I mean, if you're working to stop working, and I'm an agent who loves my job and I got plenty of money, I could retire at any time. Why would I use you if all you're going to do is stop doing loans and close down shop when you have enough money to retire? You got to ask yourself that, because entrepreneurs, again, they're playing the game. They love money. Trust me, I love money too, but I'm not playing the game for money. I'm playing the game from an impact standpoint, and then the money just kind of comes as a byproduct. And that's a true entrepreneur. So if you want to get referrals from other entrepreneurs, which between now and 2029, those will be the only agents and people still left in the game are other entrepreneurs, then you need to act like an entrepreneur. And part of that is playing the game for impact and trusting, because entrepreneurs trust that impact leads to sales and money. And that's a real entrepreneur. So entrepreneurs are going to look, are you for real? Are you actually an entrepreneur? Or are you playing the game to quit? Right. And so I want to give all that background before we dive into the three tactics they can use. Can you follow all that philosophy, Chris?
No, I think this is great. I mean, you're addressing, the current problem, what's happened, and really making us take a look back of, okay, well, what is my intent? And I think there are a lot of loan officers out there beating their head with these older tactics that aren't working. And then they're not work. So then they choose to do nothing. And then it gets worse. and then you watch them leave the business, and you're like, you didn't have to. You didn't have to. You just have to be willing. But I always want everybody to make sure that they caught this, which is one thing that you said I really caught, which was the top realtors are getting coached or maybe even multiple coached today. And if you're not, and they are, how are you ever expected to be able to connect to them when they're playing at the top of their game?
They look, this is, and for those of you who followed me, you've heard me say this before. And this is a Rolandism. I don't have any evidence to back this up. But I really believe that when you walk into a networking room, for example, let's just use that as an example. I believe that the first thing that they look for before they even decide to, I'm gonna talk to this person, I'm gonna potentially spend some time with them, and then I might book a follow-up meeting with this individual. The very, very first thing that they are asking themselves is, who is this person? Is this person like me? Do they invest like me? Do they raise their kids like I want to raise my kids? Do they enjoy the food, the culinary experiences that I enjoy? Do they experience the European trips that that's what they look for. I know it seems so funny. Everyone's always like, oh, leading with mortgage value and stuff. And I really do believe when you walk into a room, the person wants to know, are you like me? And it's the first thing. And then if they feel like, oh wow, he dresses kind of like I would expect someone like me to dress. Oh, that's interesting. He brought his spouse with. He brought his wife with him. She brought her husband with them. That says something about this individual. How their spouse is interacting in the room says something about. So they're trying to gauge: are you like me? Do you live life like me? What do we have in common? And from there, once that's agreed upon, that we have the same investment goals, the same, oh, you're into short-term rentals, so am I, right? So we start to find these commonalities. Then that opens the door for, a deeper relationship, maybe another follow-up meeting. But as we dive into these three strategies, I wanted to say that because part of it is, hey, if I'm, to your point, Chris, if I have 2 or 3 coaches, what are you doing, right? And so if they overhear that you're jumping in the cold bath plunge thing that you have in your garage, and you're reading this book, they're hearing that and saying, oh, I've thought about buying a cold plunge tank. I wonder why he or she uses that in the morning, right? So they're picking up on these, and it sounds like selfish. Why would I talk about me? You want to talk about you because that's how they're going to decide if they want to get to know you further. And that's why I'm not a huge fan of cold calling. That's why I'm not a huge fan of those ice cold coffee meetings, because the definition of a good cold call and the definition of a good coffee is them getting to talk about them. Right. But then where does this point happen where they get to find out about you? Because in my opinion, it's connecting on those aspects that really make the relationship there. And you want them to be able to see these things organically, Chris, because if they come out forced at a coffee or on a cold call of like, oh, I like that too. Do you see how that sounds like you're just saying that to relate to me? Right. And so we want them to see it first so that they don't feel like you're just saying things to relate, right? We're flipping that order in a world where trust is at an all-time low. We want these things to be evident before you meet, not after.
Yeah, that's right. And it's not like you need to connect on every single angle. No. It's just the 1, 2, 3 things that they can say, I like this guy, or I like this girl. It's funny how people say, they leave a meeting and they go, yeah, I really like Roland.
And you'd ask me, you say why? And they're like, I don't know. I just do.
I don't know. Yeah. But magically what happened is that they said, I can relate. I can connect. I like what they like. I seen something. But it's like, we always used to joke back in the old days. You're like, how did you hear about us? Oh, I watched your TV commercial. Oh, okay, great. Fine. We haven't been on TV like ever. And they watched our TV commercial. People say things that it's just crazy. They actually thought, yeah, they didn't lie. That's what they thought.
Mm-hmm. And I'm happy you said that, because again, we're not talking about selling out, right? We're not talking about becoming someone you're not just so that they like you. The beauty of personal branding is you have already pre-established what you are, who you love to be. I like to be me, and this is what being me is. That's branding. And then you just simply place the brand in as many ways as possible. And then the agents who want to use you and have a relationship with you will use you. I always say this. I say there's 40 really productive agents in your area who will use you. 40. That's it. The other ones will never use you. They don't like you. They'll give you a courtesy loan here and there, but again, I'm just messing around. It could be higher than 40, it could be less than 40, but let's say, just say 40. Most people only really have 5 or 6 of those ride or die referral partners who, productive agents who exclusively use them. What branding does is it makes it clearly evident who you are and what you are. And then we get it in front of all of them, and the chances of those 40 seeing you in the way that they have needed to see you increases. That's why my coaching program works, is we are just statistically increasing the number of people who were already going to like you. It's just, rather than you being in the market for 10, 15, 20, 30 years, which is how reputation used to work, my program condenses that into 6-7 months, right? So how do you get a 30-year reputation in a short period of time? It's why I've been able to have market share in all the businesses that I've had, and I've had successful exits because people buy reputation. And so I've been able to sell my businesses because people see, wow, look at this reputation. And I'm 35 years old, and I've been able to do it multiple times because that system, that 20-year system that everybody you can condense that into a few months. It doesn't need to be this long process, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So diving into these 3 tactics, I mean, we've teased them
Long enough. Yeah.
we've teased them. We got to give them something here. Just something
So
to maybe go.
Yeah. So again, we can set up another time to go into these further, because they take too much time to talk about. But I'm going to frame what they are. Yeah, I'm going to frame what they are because it's easy to show you why they work. So before I dive into the 3 of them, keep in mind they're just brand distribution tools. Everybody needs to get that in through their head, right? A cold call is a way to distribute your brand. That's why I don't like them, is you're so handicapped, because again, a good call is about them. A good call is adding value. A good call is having a reason to call. So it's just I don't like the phone because it's a very inefficient way to brand yourself. And so I don't think, so I like permission-based branding tools. And that's the 3 strategies that I use. So what I mean by that is, number 1 is a direct outreach strategy. I like social because you can do the cold call on social, and now they have a profile that they can go to, and they will go to it. There's data that shows out of every 4 meaningful comments that you make on someone's post, 1 in 4 times that person's going to click on your name and go back to your profile, which is a pretty high percentage, right? So if we're engaging which is strategy number 1 is a direct outreach strategy. And so you are engaging with the same people you were going to do over the phone and in person. You're just doing it on a social media platform, because we know a quarter of them are going to come back to your profile, and then they're going to see your brand. And that's why the brand needs to be created before the direct outreach, not after, because the direct outreach touch is worthless because it's saying, hey, look at me. And then they go, okay, fine, I'll bite, I'll look. And then they go look, and they're like, what were you just waving at me for? Like, you got a picture of like you and your family at Disney. You got a bunch of stock posts that your company tells you to post. Like, why'd you just bug me to go look at your profile? And there's nothing exceptional here. I'm just going to keep using the lender that I've been using for the last 8 years. Whereas if I poke you and I come and I see a very impactful, crafted brand, you poke me 6 or 7 times, I'm probably going to know more about you than I know about this LO that I've been using for the past 8 years. You just got right up on that person's heels. Overtaking them now is not that difficult. And that's the power of branding, is your first coffee is like your 10th coffee. You guys can skip to the deeper interpersonal issues. You don't have to talk about all this shallow stuff that you were able to establish with your brand. So that's strategy one, is a direct outreach strategy.
I hope
simply just touching people online. So the reason you and I know each other, Chris, is through that same strategy, right?
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing, but I never knew the stat that 1 out of every 4 is going to go back to your profile. And
when someone comments, they go, now here's how you can increase that stat. I would say when I comment on someone's, I would say it's probably, I'm going to say it's 50%. And here's why I think mine's higher is I've trained people that my profile is interesting and valuable. So you would want to click my name because you want to know, where is Roland? Where's he traveling now? What's he been up to? What kind of stuff is he creating for loan officers? Because I've trained them that if I do post, I'm not going to waste your time. It's going to be an interesting, I don't just post to spam people. If I do, it means something. And so we're training them that, wow, this person, they're fun to follow on social for these reasons. So strategy number 2 is a one-to-many strategy, right? And so a lot of you guys have done these before. So these are your happy hours. These are your webinars. What you are doing right now, Chris, is a one-to-many, right? So you're doing one thing for many people to participate in. Here's what I would say, though, that's different about our one-to-manys is we don't just do something to do something. So we don't just host a webinar. We don't just do a lunch and learn. Remember, all marketing is a brand distribution tool. That's all it is. And so you don't ever want to just do something to do something. You're getting a bunch of eyeballs on you now, and you're basically destroying your brand or making a very mediocre brand. So everyone's like, oh, I did the lunch and learn. Now where's my money? And I'm like, yeah, but you look like you just look like a loan officer. Like they walked away and felt nothing. They walked away and are probably just going to use the loan officer that they've been using. And so that's the thing. If you're going to overtake these individuals and become their new lender of choice, the brand needs to mean more than the other guy's brand. That's how it works, right? Yeah. There has to be a reason to sub you out for the other person. So these one-to-manys, when you're choosing them, choose something that shows, this is the qualification. Everybody write this down. Choose something that shows you at your best. That's what you choose. And then you invite them to that.
Very good.
That's the way it works, right? So this could be a cocktail making class in your backyard where you have a bunch of tables and people come over and learn how to make, got a bartender who teaches people how to make cocktails. This could be a casino night at your office. This could be a wine tasting event, a whiskey tasting event. This could be a book club where you are talking about how to apply business strategies from the traction book to their real estate and mortgage businesses, right? As long as you're passionate about it, that's what they need to see. Do not just do something to do it because like, oh, that's a good idea, I should do that. And that's off-brand, potentially off-brand, right? So we're trying to create this cohesive brand where everyone's experiencing you in the same way. That's how reputation's formed. Because if you just do things to market to people, you just look like someone who wants money. And so your brand becomes a desperate person who wants referrals. And very quickly that will happen. And so you just kind of look like everybody else who wants money. And so there's no meaningful brand there. It's like, well, of course you're here because you just want referrals from me, right? You see, like that's the end of the brand. Like I do things for referrals. That's like your brand. I know this sounds ridiculous, but that's most loan officers' brand is, oh yeah, I know that guy. He does this, this, and this, and this, and this. And he does those things because he wants leads and referrals. And he thinks that if he does those, he's going to get leads. And any entrepreneur, that's why people are seeing a decreased ROI. It's not that these strategies stopped working. It's that the agents left in the game see through that transactional BS. That's what's happening right now. Is it used to work on the onesie twosie agents. It don't work on the agent that's doing a listing or 2 or 3 a month. Like it don't work on them. They know what you're up to. And so we have to say, hey, instead of me tricking you into giving me a lead, how about you just come over and we make some cocktails and you can bring your wife.
Yeah. Amen.
Right. Let's just cut straight to it. Like, come hang out with me. If you like me, cool. If you don't like me, hey, you don't ever have to come back. No worries, right? That's marketing. It's permission-based marketing. If we want to be friends, then we can be friends. If you don't want to be friends, no sweat. Let's not worry about it. And then we move on, and we're just being very time efficient with this. And the cool thing is you guys don't have to be anything that you're not. You just be you all the time, every day, and you never have to do anything that's the cool thing about if you branded yourself effectively is you just get to be you all the time every day, all day, every day. You never have to be anything else. You don't have to do something annoying. Marketing actually becomes fun because it's just an opportunity for you to do things and be seen in a way that you already want to do and be seen doing. It's that simple. So we don't need to.
It's less exhausting.
Yeah, it's the only reason that my wife and I own a bunch of businesses, and the reason we own them is it's not an inconvenience for me to own them, because all I have to do is, like, right now, this is my job, what I'm doing with you, and I just get to be me. I just did that thing, and people were like, Roland, how did you just talk for 18 hours with no notes and deliver like one of the best seminars we've ever been to in our life? Because it takes no effort for me to be me and talk about things that are true. It takes zero. I don't need notes. It's the truth, and it's what I know how to do. So, like, why would I need notes for that, right? And that's what I'm asking you guys to do, is have the experience of your referral partners experience you as a person with your unique abilities, your skill set, the legacy you're trying to leave before your time's up here. If that's how they know you, in my opinion, the other loan officers in the market don't stand a chance, because you're not a loan officer. You're a person who actually is up to something really neat. And then the third strategy and the last strategy is an expert positioning strategy of some kind. So you need to participate in some sort of webinar, live presentation, Facebook group, some sort of platform for you to collaborate with other experts and share with others some sort of expertise that because I know everything that I'm saying is about being you, making some cocktails, being you, parenting your kids in an admirable way, treating your spouse and partner, and doing things to enhance your relationship and keep the spark array. I know I've been talking about all of that because that stuff's honestly why, in my opinion, it's why someone sends you a referral. But in the end, you also got to be good at your job. So you do need to have some portion of your brand. You do need to position yourself as somebody who's really, really good at what you do. And so I always say 4 times a year, you should host something that allows you to, again, share with people an area that you're really passionate about, you're really knowledgeable in. So similar to what we talked about with the one-to-many, when you guys are going to choose this strategy, choose something that they can see you at your best. Don't just talk about like a VA loan. If you hate VA loans or you don't know anything about VA loans, don't talk about it. Right. Stay in the lane that you want to talk about. And again, here's the last thing I'll say about this is if you don't have that thing, which I never did, I could care less. Back when I was in the hustle and in the grind, I never wanted to educate anybody about anything. It was just like the last thing I wanted to do. I created a platform similar to Coaching with Chris where I brought other experts on so I didn't have to be. I just got the people, and then I said, hey, here's a really smart person talking about smart stuff. Listen to them. And that's a fine thing too, because again, an expert, I would not have said yes to this, Chris, if I didn't like you and believe in what you're doing. And I vetted you, and I texted Shayla, and I texted my friends, and I said, hey, who's this? This back in the day, said, hey, who's this Chris guy? And these people said, oh, you can trust him. He's good. So then I said yes to the opportunity. So it's, again, owning a stage full of smart people. That makes you an expert as well, because people of that caliber wouldn't say yes unless this person was worth hanging out with. And so again, don't think you have to be the expert. You can be a connector of experts.
Right. I'm just going in my brain. It's just going around in circles, Roland. And I'm thinking people really vet us more than we think.
100%.
And they're headed to these social sites to be able to make a decision before we've even spoke a word.
Mm-hmm. People, you guys can write this down. It's my favorite quotes, and I'll reword it for you so that you can apply it better to your mortgage business. But Seth Godin says, marketing is people like us do things like this. And it's probably one of the most brilliant quotes I've ever heard. And he says, people like us do things like this. So what's that mean if you're a loan officer in the context of kind of what we're talking about today? Does a realtor like me do business with a loan officer like that? That's the question in their head. Does a realtor like me do business with a loan officer like that? And if you can brand yourself that answers that question, that's how you will earn their referral, because it's on brand for them. And that's why you hear me talk so much about how you treat your significant other, how you parent your kids, the things that you choose to do with your money. Like when you buy a Hermes handbag and you flex it online and talk about how awesome it is, that makes a statement to them about what you value. And again, I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just saying when you do that, it makes a statement. And when you buy the shoes you buy, it makes a statement. When you buy a boat that you buy, it makes a statement. And so all of these things craft your brand. And then the agent has to ask themselves, does an agent like me do business with a person like that? And that's what we have to think about when we're crafting our brand. There's a reason I don't brag about how much money I have and the things I own, because I don't really want the people who are attracted to that. I don't really want to come in my coaching program. And so I don't really spend a lot of time talking about the things I own from a monetary standpoint, because it attracts the wrong people. I spend a lot more time talking about who I am and who I'm aspiring to become, because I want legacy leavers and impact makers to join in design. I don't want people who just want money. There's a lot of coaching programs who are really good at helping people make money, and they should go join that program. Right. And so again, same thing for you guys. If you want referrals from people like that, you need to ask yourself, do I look like someone who they're going to feel like is the person that people like that do business with? Because if you don't, my favorite example of this is Mercedes. It's a silent commercial with the guy who is this attractive guy. He takes his wife out of their gorgeous house and he opens her eyes, and there's a Mercedes with the big bow on the front. And that says that, hey, if you want to be an attractive, successful male and you want your wife to be really, really in love with you, go buy her a $135,000 SUV. Right. That's the message there. And that's what branding is what will you be if you send referrals to someone like me? And if that's poorly defined, your business will suffer because of it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we all got to be better branders. How? I know we had one question, which was, what's the name of your program and kind of how they can find you?
Yeah, so RolandCochrun.com, RolandCochrun.com is my website. The program name is In Design. We just had a bunch of people, like 4 people sign up. So I think we're almost full. Let me look here. No, we have room for one more client. So I cap it at 30. Wow. And the reason I do that is I coach everyone myself one-on-one. Wow. Which I know is rare, and I know it's a crappy business model. You don't have to remind me. But I coach every single client one-on-one myself. Why do I do that? I love it. It's just the type of relationship that I want with everyone that I coach. And I'm just really, really good at what I do. And so it's hard for me to employ someone else who's going to be a fraction as good as what I am when a bunch of these loan officers are coming to me, investing a large amount of money and trusting me to make them money. I don't take that trust lightly. And so the only way that I can honor it is I coach everybody one-on-one myself. And then we have live events that happen 3 times a year. And those live events are life-changing. There was a time where my program didn't have any coaching. It was just live events. That's how good the live events are. Live events are so good.
I heard they're epic.
They are. We pour our guts into them. They're expensive. We spend, if anybody's seen videos of them, we spend a ton of money on them. Nice food, cool places. And we just in Mexico for our last one in January. That was really fun. Awesome. So yeah, I coach everyone one-on-one myself. We have 4 group calls a month where we can kind of exchange ideas. Most people in the group are fairly successful. They're all loan officers. And then we meet 3 times a year in person. It's anything that someone needs in a coaching program, I added it. And that's the only way that I can guarantee the results.
Favorite books you're reading today?
Every loan officer needs to read 4,000 Weeks by Oliver Burkeman. That is the most applicable today. Just kind of where we find ourselves. I just want to make sure, let me look at my list to make sure I told you because there is another book out with that name. I just want to make sure I told you guys the right one. Yes.
4,000 Weeks.
Yep. 4,000 Weeks by Oliver Burkeman. Every loan officer in 2024 needs to read that book as you're kind of trying to decide what direction you want to go here in the future. It's a very good book for the phase that we find ourselves in. Last
question for you, Roland. What's the guitar? What's the story with the guitar?
I own this house and I want to get the maximum amount of bookings when I'm not living in it. And so the whole house is stock. We probably put, my wife and I probably put almost $100,000. We bought it furnished and we put another $100,000 into making this house super elaborate for Airbnb renters. And so I have no idea what it is, but it looks nice up there. And my designer decided it was a good idea for this room. So yeah, we
no meaning to you.
Yeah, no. This is just a property that we're staying at through May, because I was doing my coaching events, my one that I did last week here, and then I got one in April with my InDesign group that I'm doing here, and then we're going back to Arizona after that. So we'll be in Arizona full time. From that, finally, I'm settling down for the first time in 5 years. So putting an end to this travel nonsense.
Well, you know what? Arizona's pretty cool.
Yep. Sedona is where we're building the house. So I'm really excited for that.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it. This is amazing.
Thanks, Chris.
I think you have broken down and broken apart branding as good as anyone. And being able to get us to understand where the consumer is going, how the consumer is viewing us, and how we need to become better. I feel like if you've listened to this last 46 minutes and didn't get 2 or 3 pages of notes of things that maybe you need to implement, maybe you need to actually go in and start to redo your brand into your socials. Maybe you need to actually participate in making comments. There's so many little nuggets, little tiny statements, Roland, that you mentioned that I think could change a loan officer's life if you'll do them. Because doing nothing gets nothing.
It's I would say on the week, we're looking about 8 hours a week. And you don't have to do all of that. You guys could outsource some of it if you have people on your team to kind of take that. I would say the lowest you're going to get at even outsourcing it's to 4. And that's because at a certain point, you can't outsource you. And if you are going to be in your brand, you will hit a point where we source the magic of you. And in a personal business, people do business with people, not businesses. And so, but then again, to make 7 figures and work 4 hours a week, there's things that have happened to people. So I think you guys can find a way to do those 4 hours and do it with a smile on your face. I don't think it'd be that hard.
That's awesome. Thank you, Roland. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate you.
Thanks, Chris. Always fun. Look forward to the next one.
All right. See ya.